Step onto a world where there's no one left but the very best. No MC can test. Yes, yes, y'all. You don't stop. Bree Scarbrough, what's up?
Not a whole lot.
Welcome aboard, people. This is episode 71. This is the Option Podcast. Today, along with Bree Scarbrough, I am Jason DeBeas. And before we got on the air, we were talking about the nice guys and nice girls of beach volleyball. Who'd you say? You said Aurora Davis?
Number one, for sure. Hands down.
Well, my number one's John Mayer. I got to go with John. That's male or female. I got to go with John Mayer because you can't say a mean thing about the guy. You can't. I mean, look, we've lived on this earth long enough that if you dig really deep, you can find someone's worst moment, right? Right? You could take all their worst moments and just like cut out all the good stuff and just use those worst moments as a straw man argument and be like a little player hater, right? But with that being said, you're not gonna find anything on John.
Anything Aurora, I think the worst thing she does is go, dang. And that's it.
Oh, see, she's cut off. She's canceled. She just said dang. Canceled.
I know. Yeah.
I ain't trying to hear it. Oh man. So Bree, how long have you and Bree been you and Aurora Davis have been playing? How long have you guys been playing together?
God, we played three years together. Yeah. 2016 season through 2018.
Wow.
I think at one point they announced it was the longest run of partnership play together in the AVP. I think it still is.
Wow, dude. Ooh, yeah. There it is. Was that since 2016?
Yeah, since 2016, because that's when I first started playing AVP.
And you got, for the people listening at home, ladies and gentlemen, this is Bree Scarbrough, okay? She's an indoor turned beach volleyball transient that just got it figured out right away. In fact, if memory serves me correctly, she got Rookie of the Year in 2016 by the AVP.
Nominee. Kelly Reeves took it that year.
Kelly Reeves?
Rightly so. I think she had like 3 fifth-place finishes that year or something like that.
She had Allie McCulloch, though. Come on. I'm not trying to cast any aspersions on Aurora Davis, but Allie was already a vet. I mean, was Allie not already a vet coming in, you know? So,
That's
I mean,
fair. That's fair.
I ain't trying to, look, I'm not trying to make rationalizations with lurking variables. That's not how I do.
It was well-deserved, Kelly Reeves.
Yes. Yeah, no, big up to her, man. I'm a hater sometimes, but not when it comes to that. I'm actually just trying to find a way to share this while I'm having this conversation with you. I want to share it it's on NY Varsity Sports for everybody listening live, but I want to see if I get this on my wall. Put this on my volleyball wall. Yes. Yeah,
Let's
no, big
do
up
a
to
share.
Her, nope. Okay.
I'm
you
a
share
hater
then.
sometimes, but not when
you
it
do
comes
it.
to that.
I'm actually just trying to find a way to share this while I'm having this. All right, there we go. I just turned that off. So Bree, let's turn the clock back. Let's turn the clock way back. In fact, let's turn the clock back before beach volleyball. Let's turn the clock back to indoor volleyball. Let's turn the clock back before you played at Washington at the American University. And I believe you transferred to school in Florida, South Florida, right?
Yep.
University of South Florida. Was that just for your senior year or 2 years, or what was going on with that?
So it would have been junior spring and then all of my senior year.
Nice. Cool, man. Yeah. Hey, listen, D1 Sweet 16, right? 2013.
That was cool.
I remember that team well. I'm an East Coast guy. I moved out. I'm a native New Yorker, so I lived in New York until 2000. I guess Christmas 2015, basically New Year's 2016 here. We drove across country. We got in and we took 10 days, saw the Elvis Mansion, just Grand Canyon, went to Vegas.
Good opportunity for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a New Yorker, I could probably do it in 42 hours by myself, but let's what got you into volleyball?
I was actually just talking about it today with my speed coach. It was It was a funny story because I was in middle school, and my best friend at the time, she didn't want to go to tryouts. Her mom loved beach volleyball, loves, indoor volleyball, all nine, and she didn't want to go to tryouts. I was like, I'll go with you. Had no intention of playing. I think she didn't make the team, but I did. And then sat the bench. I think, no, the first year we both didn't make it. And then we made it. I made it the next year, she didn't. So it was just, that's where it began.
Just kept going. Did you play middle blocker coming up, cutting your teeth?
Oh, gosh. Well, obviously, all through high school, I played. My mom had to drag me to tryouts for high school ball, which was fun. But played middle, obviously, because I was the big kid. But middle and then right side.
Yeah, for me, I always say any middles that don't want to play middle anymore, that middles that want to play, let's just say middles want to play outside hitter. Yeah. I always tell them spend a year opposite first. Get acclimated to, maybe third person receive depending on the system. Get acclimated. Don't just jump straight in on having to be the first or second best passer on the court, or and then out of system dealing with triple blocks as opposed to in system dealing with these one-on-ones and sometimes double teams and this and that, because a lot of people their careers wash out when they when these guys make the transition from out. Very rarely do I see an outside hitter, a middle translate to outside right away. I say spend a year oppo.
Hard.
Yeah.
Especially if you've trained a middle arm, you've lost your outdoor arm, your outside arm anyways. So, because middle's like super choppy.
Yeah.
But opposite was great.
Yeah, oppo's good because I guess depending on your system in men's volleyball, and I'm sure you co-sign with me on this. In men's volleyball, the opposite is supposed to be the best. Usually, traditionally, is the best offensive player on the team. Those are the ones that turn lemons.
I'll take that.
Those are the ones. Let me tell you something. Those are the ones that turn lemons into lemonade. Those are the ones they got to take out the trash. So, and when I played in Germany, oh my God, I wanted to play opposite so bad, but the oppo was like 6'9", dude from Puerto Rico, and honestly, I was just happy to start. So, and I'm also left-handed, so I was left-handed playing. Nice. I was left-handed playing left side, and didn't know that it costs your shoulder nothing. Playing left side, left-handed, it costs your shoulder nothing. It's awesome. And then in '92, I ran into an Olympic coach named Mario Tribic. He was the head coach of the Netherlands. I was in Barcelona, actually. I was in the army at the time, and I was also playing in Germany. And he's like, you should set. You're 6'1", you're left-handed. My wingspan's 6'8", so...
That's quite a big difference.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm a walking group hug. So I spent a lot of time just setting, and eventually just became a setter. But for you, so when you made the Sweet 16, did you play middle?
I had played mostly middle that year. Didn't play a whole lot that season. We had a really good setup, and it was mostly Bree, who can you go in for, the right side or the middle if something goes wrong? So that's how that kind of turned out. But
that depth. They had a lot of depth.
I was the coach on the side.
Oh, geez, trust me. I'm an
expert cheerleader.
Honestly, I've always been a coach. Even like the teams I wasn't the best player, there was one of these things where I had this gift with just being on the court, and if I touched the ball 5 times, we won. I didn't need, what I'm saying? I didn't need to be the center of attention. Didn't this, whatever. And of course, Bree, as you know, you're a good player. There's gonna be some teams where you're the best player on, and there's gonna be some teams where, no, you're the best player in every team you're on. So.
I get carried plenty.
Are you from Florida originally?
Yes, Sarasota native, born and raised.
Nice. Good for you. Do you know I've never been to Florida?
That's really depressing.
It is. And you know why it's depressing? Because everybody who I fell in love with on the beach scene, like all of my favorite people, are Floridian transplants or like you, born and raised there. Like, I love me some Dave Palm. I love me some Rafa Rodriguez, right?
Oh, Rafu.
You know,
I don't think he's another nice guy too.
yeah. I actually trained with him a lot. When you won rookie, the year you won rookie, I was helping him and Kevin
I
McCulloch.
didn't win. Kelly Reeves won.
Yeah, I was.
But
Yeah, no, I was there when him and Kevin McCulloch qualified. Then they lost the first round, and then they won
I love when he played.
five straight matches in the contenders bracket. So I helped
That was
them.
at New York, right?
No, that was in Manhattan Beach.
Okay.
Yeah. New
Well,
York's been kind of a up and down ride for you, right? For you, third time was a charm for qualifying. I think.
Yep. Yeah, because
I
Aurora and I
sound so
didn't.
damn depressed.
No, because our first year, I think it was a tough year because Aurora had come off of a really good season with Kelly Schumacher, and then I was kind of like the baby you took a chance on, and but then we proved to do well, and when we did qualify for that final New York, it was ridiculous. It was unbelievable. It was like three set matches, each one of them, and we had three of them to get in, and it was dark, and I think we played Corinne Quiggle and Therese Cannon to get in, and that was that was amazing because it was a great game, but it was exhausting.
Yeah, you qualified in. I remember you qualified in 2018. Like I said, third time's a charm, and it's so cool because I look at some of these qualifiers, and we affectionately refer to as the gladiator pits, right? It is if someone can cut your throat in the tent, so they don't have to play the extra match. You,
Especially on the men's side.
yeah. Oh my God.
The
Yeah.
men's has been so deep.
Dude, I actually played in one qualifier once just because I wanted to play in one before I got too old.
And you're like, nah, this ain't for me.
Yeah, no, I was 47 when I did Manhattan Beach. I was 47 when I did Manhattan Beach, so
I
yeah.
know. I tell you, at any age, it's tough.
Yeah, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like you said, G. So, have you done color commentating for maybe on a local level, or
No, but I've had requests too, so I might have to start doing some of that.
you have the voice.
Oh, well, thank you.
You have what I call a female athletic dude voice, like the girls who could sound, kind of sound like Pam Shriver from like tennis, like if. Come on, if Pam Shriver did like a Rambo movie, she'd be awesome. Let's evacuate these bitches. Come on, right? Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
So for Halloween, my sister and I were Cheech and Chong, right? So we have the whole facial hair. You know who Cheech and Chong is, right?
Of course.
Okay. So we have I have the big mustache anyways. So I'm having a beer and this guy comes up to me and he goes, "How do you like your mustache?" And I was just like, well, it's kind of hard to drink my beer with. I was like, I've never done that before. It's kind of gross. And he looks at me and he's like, "You really got this whole thing going on, with that deep voice you got." And I was like, "Sorry, bro, that's my voice." He was just like slides out of the frame,
Listen,
Freelima gets a kick out of that, and I think just about everyone gets a kick out of that story. He's like, "Oh, sorry. I mean, I really like it. It's nice, but."
Dude, look, if you're sitting in the spot and you're chilling, and then someone's interested in you, and you're not interested in them,
I'm like,
all you gotta do is go, "I've been watching you." Like, I'll be back. I gotta use the bathroom. In fact, I think I already did.
usually my laser vision will get them first.
Yeah. I'll tell you a cool story. I worked in a cardiology practice for 17 years for this famous doctor. It's kind of like this doctor of the stars. And Lauren Bacall, who was one of our patients. You want to talk about deep voices? Old school black and white actress. The receptionist is like, she pages me. She's like, "Jason, can you pick up for a second?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" She's like, "Look, there's this guy on the other line that's really mad at me, and he only wants to talk to someone that knows him." Okay, I'm like, oh, sure, I can do it. Yeah, I'm the vet here. So I pick up the phone. I'm like, hey, how can I help you, sir? And she's like, it's Lauren Bacall. And I'm just like, I'm like, Betty, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Uh, what are you gonna do? It happens to me all the time.
Yeah, but listen, those are the. I don't mean to stereotype or categorize, but those are the most powerful personalities. The girls I met that walk into a room and like men know how to behave. They snap to or whatever, they get up. Those are the ones coincidence or whatever. I don't know the science behind it, but you're an endangered species. You know, girls like you don't exist anymore. That kind of power woman that a lot of women pretend to be so they can get respect, but then there's some people who just are, and I think it is my strong suspicion you just are. Like,
I appreciate that.
But look who I just mentioned,
take it.
like Ingrid Bergman, look, Lauren Bacall, Sophia Loren, like all of them had kind of this deep little. And all of these, again, I don't know if you watch black and white films, but all of these are that kind of woman that would, walk into a room that them and Doris Day and Humphrey Bogart, they all get the same respect across. It's a unisex respect across the board.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy the deep voice because it, like you said, it's also easier to hear. So I work in a hospital with a lot of older patients, right? So my normal voice is very easy to understand. So, and coincidentally, one of the occupational therapists that I work closely with, she has almost all of her hearing gone, but she's like, I just love working with you because I can actually hear you. So we'll be in a room talking to a patient and she'll look at me and she'll be like, what'd she say?
Oh my God. So that's the field you work in?
What?
That's the field you work in, physical therapy?
Yes, I'm a doctor of physical therapy.
That's right. And you know what? I'm going to call you doctor, okay? Because there's a whole lot of bullshit going on. Oh, can we call this person doctor? Can we call that person doctor? I'm like, dude, just because you're not educated enough to interpret what the difference between an MD and what classifies as a doctor doesn't mean someone shouldn't call themselves doctor. All right? Mm-hmm. Sorry, you got a third grade education and they chose to pursue their PhD. What's your PhD in?
It's not a PhD, it's a medical doctorate. So it's like a chiropractic.
Okay, so you're an MD.
Mm-hmm. No.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, I get it. I'm an idiot. Sorry.
Like a chiro. So you're a doctor of chiropractic, I'm a doctor of physical therapy.
There it is. There it is, right? Dr. Martin Luther King. They ain't gonna stop calling him doctor, right? So a musician who taught me how to play piano turned out to be a pedo. Dr. Raymond Elliott Brock. He's a doctor of music. So, and she's like, oh my God. That's what you get. You signed up.
You could probably go on.
Yeah, I'm trying not to. I'm trying to listen.
No,
this is
good.
Healthy distribution of people. I gotta let people talk too.
No, I'm just not as educated in that realm.
Yeah.
So I couldn't list them off like you could.
So, oh my God, I can go all day. Jeez. So as a general, does your field, how much, okay, this is how I'm gonna ask. Does what you do for a living at all influence or change the way that you physically prepare for matches?
Oh, for sure. Preparation is huge, and planning days in advance how you're going to train, weeks in advance how you're going to train. I've been Olympic weightlifting since I was 15 years old, so I know what my body is capable of and how I can recover, and working and training and all those things, and knowing, and I've been training with one of my best friends, Jessica Wilson. We train in my gym here at home, and, we do a lot of what I call priming. We do cardio and we do mobility stuff, and then we go into what I call priming rounds for whatever we're working out that day. So it definitely helps. I have a strict dynamic and cool down workout, and, it's very much, organized, which is what I love. So
God, it really helps. It
really effective.
Pays to do something you love, doesn't it?
So nice.
Yeah. I was on a previous podcast. I was talking about the difference between a job and a career. And Chris Rock, was talking about the difference. He's like, when in a career, you can't get to work soon enough. There's not enough hours in the day. He says, but when you have a job, you get there, 9 o'clock, you look at your watch, it's still 9 o'clock. You like, what the hell is wrong with this thing? 8:59, did it just go backwards? So I wish, Bree, I wish everybody that kind of happiness. I really, really do.
It's so hard to find, and most people don't. Because most people are fine with settling for something that pays well, or and it's okay. They just do it to pay for whatever lifestyle they want, and they find their happiness elsewhere. But I was lucky enough to find something that I have a huge passion for, which is health, fitness. I really love motivating and educating people about their bodies, because it's amazing how much people do not know. And when they feel that they've been educated and they understand, the buy-in is so much easier. So if you can find a way, and I love it, it's similar to coaching, find how to make athletes buy in.
Yeah, that's very, very big. And mind you, we're not even talking about the psychological and mental preparation. We're just talking about the physical part, like, again, like I told you before, I worked in a cardiology practice for 17 years. And the only reason why I even stayed that long was because, one, the guy I worked for turned out to be like a father figure. We liked each other right away. And he was always one of these guys that was saying, you should always regret doing something than rather than regret not doing it. Like, I wanted to go back to school and finish. I served in the military. I went to Hunter College for a cup of coffee. Didn't study anything. Studied volleyball. Dropped out. But I wanted to go back to school for theater. And he's like, if you want to do it, go do it. Then I'm like, I need to audition. If you want to audition, go audition. I'm like, I think I want to coach NCAA full time instead of part time. If you want to do it, do it. So he was always that kind of guy where he was like, just do it and regret doing it. Then it always hurts less than it does regretting not doing it. That's painful, and that stays with you for a long fucking time. So he passed away last year, 91 years old. Lived a long life.
91 is old.
Yeah. He's his name is Rosenfeld. He had his own show called House Calls, Fox. So he was very big, just like you, on general nutrition and health and physical preparation. He wrote a book called Doctor, What Should I Eat? Which uses foods for your physical and mental ailments instead of medications and drugs. He also wrote a book called Rosenfeld's Guide to Alternative Medicine, which you don't see a lot of doctors do, but when you're like a millionaire and you're not addicted to money, sooner or later you just start doing the right thing, right? You don't do it because you're sponsored by Pfizer or whatever and this and that, or because they're paying you to talk, Yeah, sooner or later, right? You just tell the truth. You become candid with the people. But so you were gonna say something.
Truth.
There it is. She's not the
big
best.
one.
See, she's not the best color woman in the league for nothing.
No, and I've had a conversation with many people, because I'm very blunt and very forward, and sometimes it comes off bitchy, right? But for me, truth is, and Pre Lima put it best of anybody, because one of the girls that we train with, she was just like, Bree, like, I just don't get it, like, you're willing to hurt somebody's feelings in order to like do so. I was like, but the truth means more to me than making you feel good about something.
No doubt. No doubt.
So, but I try to do that in everything. Like, I tell my patients all the time, like, I have no, like, I'm only here for you. It doesn't do me any good if we sugarcoat anything, but and I think that's the best thing, because you get to see people's true colors, and I don't have a job that allows me to be me. So that's good.
Actually, I think I had some video of Pri as well.
She's the best.
She's awesome.
Shout out to her. Her birthday is in 2 days.
What? Tell her happy 23.
Yeah.
Actually, that's you and Aurora. But I definitely had some stuff on. This is you and Aurora again. Wow, that was nice.
Just leave the line open for me, please.
Yeah, I know. You take it all day. Right, in addition to the high reach too, right? There it is again. Boom. Leave you a little bit. Don't even leave you a lot.
Just leave me the line.
Yeah, give me an inch. I'm going to take a yard. So I like what you said about telling the truth because to quote Jesse Ventura, if you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. And that's on another level. But I think there's something liberating about self-honesty, being not just honest with other people, because people come to you in your profession, you have to tell them the truth or you're not doing your job. Honesty with self is a bigger demon to conquer than it is honesty with other people, right? Because you're not bitchy because you're honest with yourself. Who the hell calls himself bitchy for being honest with himself, right? No, it has to be tough love. It has to be brutal honesty with other people. So I totally, as a New Yorker, as a kid from Brooklyn,
we get along.
As a kid from Brooklyn, yeah, it's no surprise we get along. Well, for New York, and I said this to Angel. Dace, he was on a previous podcast. Another nice guy. Since we listen off nice people, maybe we should just do dickheads, man. That might be a shorter list, right? Oh yeah, I'm not. All right,
I don't know about that, but
look, I'll do that on my own time, man. I ain't trying to take you down with me, okay? Yeah. Now, for me, if I have a peeve, I already said it, and there's nothing I'm gonna say to somebody on a podcast or behind their back that I have not, or will not, or did not already say to them, you know?
This is true.
Like Kevin Barnett, I'm not a big fan of his beach color commentary, all right? Indoor, the man's God. Indoor, the man is God. He takes you on his journey and he educates you on these international players you know nothing about, and you take the journey with him. But I don't know, maybe he was paid to like be funny or something, man. And never mind, don't even get me started. But anyway, what I was trying to say was, where I'm from, if we don't like you, we're not going to be dicks about it, but we're not going to pretend to like you. We're not going to go, you know, like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in a long time. No, but there's a general respect, like, hey, what's good? How you doing? And then say hi and then break. Okay, so do you have a mean side on the court?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I've had multiple people tell me, they're like, you know, you're a really nice person.
Yeah.
Weird.
You got your game face, right?
But normally, you know, it's all game on the court. You know what I mean? It's either going to be you or it's going to be me, and I'm hoping it's going to be me and not you. So.
Yeah, come on. Well, here's something. Here's you jump surfing trying to hit the ref. Let's do that again. I gotta see that again. The ref's like, whoa. Do that again one more time. One more time. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Bree.
Like, that's for that no touch call.
Look. He reaches for his pocket.
Calling me in the net.
I was like, you know what? Let me look at clips of Bree before I get on this podcast. And
that's gold right there.
Yeah, that was great. That was FIVB. You played Betsy and Emily Day. And I remember that match did not go well. I think you got beer game the second set. And I can only hit you with this brutal honesty because I have the ability to bring it back. Like in New York, if I remember in New York, you actually beat them first round. The same year.
We took it to them.
Yes.
We didn't just beat them. We took them to them.
And that's the reason why I brought it up. I guess my question is, I'm going the Kanye West route. Like, what the hell is he talking? What the hell is he talking about? Oh my God, he's a genius. So my question is, are there certain losses that leave a bad taste in your mouth where you're like, next time I play this team, I got to make this happen?
Every team that you lose to.
That's my girl.
Every team. I know it. There are certain teams that you go back and forth with. Like, I know Aurora and I never got a win on Gina and Benny. We never got a win on them, but it was always a freaking bloodbath. And then back and forth with Emily and Betsy, and then it was a back and forth with Kelly Reeves and Brittany. And God, it was just, and we love it. Like the harder the team, the more excited we always got. And, and I make it a point, what could I have done better? That's going to be the last time you beat me, or you're going to have to do it a heck of a lot better job the next time.
Yeah, that is the competitor in you that allows you to play for a long, long time. In fact, I see you playing until the nurses wheel you out. It's like push harder. Fine, I'll get out. Sit down. I'll push. Yeah. I think for certain players, and I'll speak for myself. For me, if losing to someone wasn't personal, then it was time for me to stop playing. Takes me too long to get back up, and from a physical thing, if there's certain things that I'm not able to do that I'm good at that bring me to the table, that I just don't want to play. Everybody's like, oh, you can play, lower level here. That's not the competitor in me doesn't do that. Everyone's like, oh, Jason, you must be playing beach every weekend. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Unless I have a certain group of people. Because right now for double A, like I'm 50 this year, but the guys that play double A, I'm better than all of them, and I'm not good enough to play open. So right now I'm in this tweener stage where I'm not going to play at all. I actually enjoy training. I train with Oz Borges last weekend. Oz, Rob Aurora, Rob McLean, and Gus, who's Dane's assistant at USC. Gustavo
Aurora is also another nice guy.
Oh my God, yes he is. Cute ass kids too, man. Yeah, but honestly, I get more out of training with certain people than I do playing, just random games. But it depends, because like I said, when I was getting it in, I really enjoyed playing against Rafu and Kevin. We went to Temecula, California. I invited Rob McLean with me, and we played King at the end. Out of respect for everybody's privacy, I'm not gonna tell you who won King because, when people train, we don't air that stuff. But I will tell you that Rob McLean, he played like LeBron James. You know how like LeBron James plays basketball like he doesn't have his contract? Like he doesn't have the guy plays like he doesn't have a contract. That's how Rob McLean came out because he just moved there too and he didn't know anybody and my partner from Manhattan Beach couldn't make it. Mm-hmm. And Rob's like, I'll go. So Bree, we talked a little bit about the physical part.
Yep.
How much time do you spend outside of the gym? Maybe dunes, maybe stairs, maybe I don't know if you're one of those people that like to run. I mean, I'm not like one of those people.
Not that psychotic.
Yeah, one of those people.
No.
God. So, what do you do? And I'm still talking about physical because we didn't get to psychological yet. What else do you do physically to prepare? Maybe let's talk about general nutrition too. Okay. What you're playing a weekend tournament. Let's say you're playing big shots. All right. And you're always there at the end for big shots. And I know Clearwater, you were in the semis, right? You played my homies in the semifinals. Nuss and
Terry.
Yeah. Good team. Good new team, man.
Great team.
So, it's a 2-day tournament. What do you eat the night before?
So we're talking Friday night. I have already been preparing the beginning of the week for hydration. But gosh, what is my go-to? I like a lot of rice. Pastas tend to be a little bit too heavy for me, but rice is my go-to. Rice, chicken, try to get a green in there. I'm not a huge fan of the greens. It's really tough for me. But just trying to eat as much as I can without overdoing it. Light on the sugar that we do, for sure.
Yeah. For me, my favorite food the night before tournament was like a veal parmesan hero and a slice with spinach. That's all the carb loading I needed. Bow tie pasta. My boss, who's a cardiologist, said bow tie pasta.
Bow tie is the best, though. Is it not the best shape of pasta?
Yeah, it's the best shape, and it's the best carb load preparation for tournaments. But for me, like if I have a hero or something like that, I always make sure my bread is toasted, assuming it's white, which I don't eat a lot of white bread anymore. And Yeah, toasted is a better carbohydrate breakdown if you toast your bread. My boss wrote that in his book as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, hey, check it out. Doctor, what should I eat, man? You know, for me, like, if I want iron, I don't take iron pills. I eat spinach, raw spinach, or I eat red meat. If I want, if I want a fat burner, avocado of California, avocado is the best, even it's far from my favorite. Dark chocolate, turkey legs, cashews, almonds. All of these things are great sources of fat burner as opposed to using a fat burner supplement. So for me, and I think I'm doing all right. Like, I don't look like I'm 50. I look like I'm an unattractive 35-year-old. So I think
you definitely didn't look 50. That's for darn sure.
He's like, yeah, if he's 35, maybe I'd do him. But but for me, and it's worked for me, and I'm bringing this to your attention. There's so many foods that have everything that a supplement that you would need to take, like Brazil nuts. Instead of taking a testosterone injection, Brazil nuts, a certain amount of Brazil nuts a week help you keep your for men out there, help you keep your testosterone levels where you want.
You can also do HIIT training.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Increased test in HGH.
There it is. Man, Brazil nuts. Actually, in Brazil, I think they probably have all that stuff at the bodega, man. You need to go. I watch the UFC, man, and I'm like, I feel like every week someone pisses hot, dude. John Jones told a story that he hid under the ring when the tester came, like a surprise test, and they have like a cage they train in and a ring. He crawled under and hid under the ring, and they told him he wasn't there because he smoked weed the night before. But yeah, how you feel about the legalization?
It's not that you don't know.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, they told you, yet you're still stupid. Interesting.
To quote Stephen A. Smith too, like bullshit stuff. Now, I'm not even talking about PEDs. I'm talking about regular, stupid, banned substances.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay off the weed. That's the quote of my boy from First Take.
Yeah.
Bree.
You need to make that a shirt and just put lots of E's.
Bree, listen, I am for the legalization of marijuana because all of my friends are chill, all right? To quote Jesse Ventura, you never saw someone smoke a joint, go home and beat their wife. It's always alcohol. These guys think they're Elvis. This girl thinks she's Madonna. So, no, but with that being said, if you know, like you just said, if you know the rules, and you know it's a banned substance, especially if you're getting paid. If you're like one of these guys in the Big Three basketball or whatever, they offer you a $10 million contract for 3 years or 2 years, and all you have to do is stay off the weed. Bree, have you ever seen a joint that was worth $10 million?
It's not easy.
No, I never saw a joint that was worth $10 million. So, so what are you doing after this? Let's get high. Your first main draw. What was your first main draw?
My first what?
Main draw.
First main draw.
It's not what you thought it was. What's your first main draw?
My first tournament with Brittany Teagues. My first AVP ever.
Which one was that?
New Orleans, 2016.
New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That was a fun trip.
Was that fun?
Yeah, my mom and I drove up because we couldn't find flights that I had to be back for school for, so we had to drive.
Did you meet Sean Ladig there?
No.
Do you know Sean Ladig?
No.
He is.
I know the name. I've not met.
He's this. Talk about people who are old that just look ridiculous. I'm a little gay for him, I think, maybe. Yeah, he played with Cameron Beans in New York, I think in 2017, and they had to play Ricardo in the qualifier of the first round. So, but he's an older guy, and right now he's coaching more than playing. And I don't know, I just threw it out there. I thought maybe you might know him or I've met him, but he's an absolute hunk. And you made with Teagues. Good for you, man. Good for you. That was the year John Mayer won with Dougherty. I think the Mayer and Dougherty won the men.
Potentially. I still didn't know what I was doing back then. So, and I'm pretty sure I still don't know what I'm doing, but.
Good. As long as you do that, you're always trying to be a better version of yourself, you know?
In competition with yourself.
Yeah.
Never go wrong.
Now, something that I get about you, I didn't ask around about you, but this is my guess. You strike me as the type of partner where you don't have to deal with your partner. Do you know what I'm talking about?
You mean like people don't have to check up on me? Or
There are certain powerful personalities that their emotional ups and downs. Sometimes you have to. That's something you have to. Certain players can either ride that wave with them, or they can't swim when the wave crashes. Right? You drown and she's still swimming. That's if so. That's as good a metaphor as I could describe to bait the question to you.
well, I think
Are you good as far as where people don't have to deal with you?
I think I've become that person. I think that you'd have to put Aurora on the spot. She wouldn't say anything bad about me anyways.
Not on
But
camera.
you have to have some sort of emotional awareness and, awareness for your partner and then also for yourself, and Bree really helped me a lot with this because we played a lot together in 2019 and mostly 2019. We played like, I think every Florida tournament together, and then we played Austin and then Manhattan, no, Hermosa.
Yeah.
No, it was Huntington was the first one.
Yep.
But you have emotional awareness for yourself and then for somebody else, and your partner's allowed to play bad, and it's going to happen, and you're allowed to play bad and it's going to happen. It's just how you respond. But for the most part, I would say that I am generally pretty loud. A little, I can get up and down like the rest of us can. I think I've become better at reeling myself in, but
Well, yeah, big waves crash.
Mm-hmm.
Big waves crash, right? Sometimes
Well,
if you're too
you try to keep your highs a little bit lower than your actual high, but then you want to bring your lows up, right? And maintain a consistency, which consistency has always been my problem because I'm the big, strong, power hitter, so it's consistency that I've been trying to learn over time, which is, the older you get, the easier it is.
Yeah. Bree, for me as a coach, I always teach my players so they can just draw a picture in their head. For every 5 points you get on the high, you're gonna give up 9 on the low if you're too high. Unless there are a few unicorns out there, and I've said this on my podcast numerous times. Fallon Fonoy Moana, right? She could start high, she could stay high. All right, but that is one of those people you call a unicorn, and that's the one we take back to the lab, and we studied so we could just understand her a little bit better. So
you talk about a poised player who's played at a very high level for a very long time.
But
how much training has she had? I think that's a huge part of that. You know,
and her culture. She's half black, half Samoan. You know what I'm saying? So in her culture, they can ride that wave. But for certain people, I had a grass doubles partner in New York. East Coast, we play a lot of grass, whatever. I had a grass court partner, this crazy dude from Harlem, Bernard Norman. They called him Satan, and I'm like, why the hell isn't anybody playing with him? Because he's absolutely crazy. The dude has something to say every single play. He's like, hey, who put this child in front of me? Can I get another blocker? Can you get me someone else? Every play, this and that. And I played with him and I won out. And I played with him and I won out. And I played with him, I won out. And then we just became really close friends because there are certain personalities that if you have a unicorn like Fallon, there's certain personalities that can ride with her, and then there's certain personalities, if she plays like that, she's going to drown him, right? How many times have you seen a player like that argue about a call with a ref, right? And then the very next play, their partner gets aced.
But I love, because you have to find a way to compliment your partner, and it's not all your partner's responsibility, right? So it's how can I make them better in a certain situation, whether it's, being supportive, being extra loud, being more calm, and I loved Fallon and Bree playing together because Fallon allowed Bree to play at Bree. That's how she played.
Yeah.
And it just gives you goosebumps because like that's how she's supposed to play. Like when Bree and I played together, I know she didn't get to play like Bree because she had to stay more even keel for me. But Fallon being a better, more consistent, she's, blocker. She, it was really wonderful to see Bree be able to play her game.
She's a savage, dude. She's
Oh,
a
I love
savage.
her. I love her.
Before we talk about Fallon, I want to say something really cool about Pre. There are certain partners where I call them emotionally interchangeable. No, sorry, interchangeable. Pre is the type of character and volleyball player as well that depending on her partner, if she needs to take control, she will. And if she needs to give up control, she will. Not everyone is interchangeable. There are certain personalities that they have to have control, and maybe they're control freaks, or maybe they're not. Maybe they just have to have control.
Yep.
And then there's certain partners are like, no, you know what? I'm the physical beast, but you're gonna have to lead this. You're gonna have to steer this ship with us, or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Bree, that is a reality because there are no 50. There's no such thing as 50-50 control in a partnership. It doesn't exist. It really, I mean, there's some 55-45s, all right? I see you ready to disagree, but they ain't no 50-50s. So that's the thing I really liked about Pre. How much of that, how right am I on that one?
I would definitely say Pre likes to be more control than not. But why wouldn't you want to put her at the helm? The woman's got so much freaking experience, and I love playing with her because I'm the type of player who I can do either as a blocker. I really like when my defender has more ideas, and Bree and I would have like 5 calls on offense or 5 calls on defense, which whatever its situation and scenario was how it changed. Like we had a different defense. So she's a great person to learn from. And you talk about emotionally aware people, she is extremely emotionally aware.
Yeah, she's really good like that.
she's taught me a lot of that and kind of beat it out of me, if you will. But yeah, she's great. She's been an amazing mentor.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching you and her play. I enjoyed watching her and Fallon play. Had Fallon on the podcast a couple of months ago. And I had her on because I really thought she had something she wanted to say about like the whole racial climate, like that whole situation. And certain people want to be politically correct because they don't want to feel like they're picking a side. But Fallon kind of broke her silence, and maybe it took some nudging on my part. I think if you know anything about me, you probably say I instigated it. You probably say it's all Jason's fault. But I really, really like that she spoke her mind about that because it was important for
Fallon's
people.
not going to not speak her mind, which is why I love Fallon.
Yeah. She ain't got a backpedal. I really like that, And she also took a situation that seemed like it was being hijacked by politics and just brought the humanity back into it. Like certain things, there are certain movements that are a human rights movement or some people's basic instinct and survival movement that sometimes if there's certain politicians that hijack the narrative, and if you are a supporter of a certain political party, you feel like you have to fall into that, what do you call it? Tribalism, right? Mm-hmm. I always say tribalism is the biggest enemy of dialogue, because you already come in, listen, I come into this conversation with you. There's certain things I have my mind made up, but my mind's not closed. Yeah, my mind's not closed.
Sure. Open-mindedness gets you a hell of a lot farther than closed-mindedness, right? And if you're willing to listen to understand versus listen to hear, right, you can pick up a lot more. But I had a good friend bring it up to me the other day. It was if we just stop talking about it, maybe everything will normalize, But we'll see. It's been going on for so long; it's probably not going to change, but we'll see.
That's true. That's very wise, actually. Some people, to me, it depends on the situation, because there's some situations like stop talking about it is equivalent to not paying your cell phone bill. a month later, the bill don't go away. In fact, now you owe more money the next month. So,
If you want to fight, people are going to want to fight. And it's,
yeah,
who knows how long it
it's
lasts.
true, man. I mean, you just want to pick the battles where everybody doesn't lose,
No.
right? All right, this question came in for you. Volleyball and relationships. Have you ever lost a boyfriend of volleyball?
To volleyball? Or kicked him out of volleyball?
Well, shit, you got something you want to say. Go ahead, Bree.
No, I don't. It's not worth the time. But no, I haven't. I'm very myself. If you're not willing to ride the ride, it's, the ride's closed. So.
So I'll put it like this.
I want to do.
I'll put it like this. When I had a kind of a breakup, and when she left, she said, "You already have a girlfriend," and closed the door behind her.
Why? Why make the comment?
Yeah, I'm just like, I went, okay, cool. What am I supposed to say about that? She's right. You got to share it,
Yeah. My obsession with this sport, and I always tell people that I play this sport completely selfishly. It's what I do for myself. The constant self-exploration for something better, to fight within yourself, right? Whether it's strength, whether it's technique, and I'm constantly learning, and it's something that allows me to learn about me, not just, be a professional, you know what I mean? I learn a heck of a lot more about myself as a person, and I have, by playing this game and continuing to work out, and it's been great, and I love it. You're obsessed with the process, and you have to be invested in it.
Well, yeah, that's right. Got it. Ding. I don't even know where that's coming from. Listen.
I think it's on my computer, but I can't turn it off.
No, leave it. Because every time you say something correct, it goes off. So I think I think the difference between you and a lot of athletes is once you all right, you got volleyball, you've been snake bitten. You're infected with the volleyball virus, right? There's no known cure, there's no fucking vaccine for it. Sorry, people out there.
No.
So I had to get that part out of the way. The difference between you and a lot of people is once your obsession or passion or neurological addiction, once this escapism has become your career, you at least have something else outside of that to help compartmentalize, where it allows you to come in and out like whatever. Because there are some people, God, I hate to use Ty Tremblay again, or there's certain players, but there's a Ty Tremblay type player where you got to tell him the job can't save your ass. It saved you, and it did make you a better person. And you do have this one thing that you do really well, that people take the journey and they follow you and this and that. But at the end of the day, the job can't save your ass. Do you ever see The Wire? HBO?
I have not.
HBO, Dominic West, definitely listen. One of the best 5 shows ever on television. It was a miniseries. Check it out. Dominic West plays a detective, McNulty. This Baltimore cop, absolute douchebag, cheats on his wife, drinks whatever he can drink, bangs whatever he can bang. And he does this one thing really, really well. He's good police. So for him, once he takes down a case, it's on to the next one, it's on to the next one, it's on to the next one, because for him, it's what makes his blood boil, and it's what gives him a rush, and it's the only way he feels like he can, I guess metaphorically speaking, stay alive. But at the end, and I'm not giving away too much, but at the end, his partner told him, dude, he says, the job can't save your ass. You know, you taking down this case, taking on that case or whatever. The job at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you get old and you look back retrospectively with very few regrets. Moving forward, as far as evolving, it can't save your ass. And that's why I think you've already won. You won a lot of tournaments, and you definitely have a pedigree of volleyball that commands respect, that just goes with being Bree Scarbrough. But to me, I think just looking at you from the outside in, you've already won in so many ways, realizing that. You know, so
Thank you.
So it's supposed to be a conversation, but shit. I feel like Eminem. I'm saying everything you were about to say. It's like 8 Mile or something.
I'm very fortunate. For me, it's always been a goal of taking advantage of every opportunity and using it to the fullest. And as of right now, I would never do anything differently. I would fight the good fight for this same life over and over again.
Yeah.
And on my necklace, it says, live a great story. And I just fell in love with that whole idea of living a great story. It doesn't even mean you have to do cool stuff, but just if you live every moment, you're, inherently a good person or whatever, and you just do the best you can with every situation, then eventually it's going to work out. Of course, we all want, better. If we didn't, we'd be stagnant and nothing else would happen. But I've really, really enjoyed the ride so far, and I'm excited for the rest of the ride. So
you love your life?
I can't complain. I can't complain.
Me neither. But, honestly, amidst this pandemic and the way this whole year's gone, a year that I think I speak for both of us, we just want to erase from a human footprint, right? Maybe we could just call next year 2020 all over again and just forget this year happened, right? Let's celebrate my 50th proper. But I'm with you. I got to leaving my 9 to 5, which I never really wanted to do. And retrospectively, I'm not a 9 to 5 person. And anyone out there, man, I wish everybody, if you're not a 9 to 5 person, man, do what you can to get the hell out, because there are some people, look, the 9 to 5 is their career. They can't wait to be there at this time. And for them, I say good for you. But me coaching and
sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you hate in order to get to do what you love.
Yeah. I mean, look. What am I doing, right? I wanted to serve in the military. I served. I wanted to do theater performance. I did a bunch of shows in New York. I want to coach volleyball. Been doing that. I wanted someone I could share that with. I got a hot chick in the house somewhere.
There you go.
Didn't really think about a kid, but once we had one, she's like this little white-haired, looked like Queen Daenerys. Looks like, have you ever seen Game of Thrones? She looks like a baby Daenerys, big blue eyes, and wears her emotions on her face. So yeah. So, but even amongst this pandemic and this shitty year, I can say I can't complain.
And I think it's, and it's similar to for volleyball players, right? It's similar to when the AVP went down in 2011, right? You've kind of catch a reality check on where you are, and in this year, I have never been more happy with getting into school, getting a good job, like all that stuff, you know what I mean? And I've never been all of my eggs in one basket kind of person. And it's paid off, and it's been scary for a lot of people, and it's been, but I think it's been good for people, especially myself, to kind of reflect on where is this going? Like, why am I doing this? Do I want to continue to do what I'm doing? And like, who the heck knows what's going to happen next year? We're all asking, when's the schedule going to come out? When's the schedule come out? Well, it's like, well, might have to have tournaments in Florida, but maybe we'll be more open-minded now. So
yeah, Dave Palm's been lobbying for that hard.
Everyone is. Yeah. Everyone is. I mean, you got to hand it to Florida. We've got some good teams. And I mean, the weather isn't terrible all the time. I mean, if we did it like in between February and March, or we did it in the fall, we could have tournaments all the time. Just when you want to do that July tournament, that's a terrible freaking idea, and we know it.
No doubt.
But you know, I think it's opening a lot of doors, and you know, we've had tournaments here, and we've had more California players playing here, and they've just enjoyed the atmosphere, you know, and so it's just exciting to get to see them on our turf for a change, you know, and we get to show them, you know, who we are, kind of. So
yeah, well, I mean, just who you are as people is a big plus. Is already a win. Who you guys are as competitors has always been there. It's always been existent. It's always been all pretty much all present and all knowing, right? I mean, Phil and Nick live in Florida. I mean, they're not Californians per se. Dave Palm took Dylan Merrick and beat Case Beer and Chalk after they won Seattle. So I mean, it's not like Florida as a volleyball state has to play the validation game, which to me I always found disgusting. I mean, I'm throwing up in my mouth just talking about Florida, you know, why Florida's good. I shouldn't have to, right? I'm as a New Yorker, I'm not comfortable with talking about stuff that people should already fucking know. But
true.
Yeah, but big up to you guys. Big up to North Carolina. You know,
oh my gosh, Texas.
Big up to my boy Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight, if you ever met Kevin Knight, he Myrtle Beach.
Oh, Cookie Man.
Yes.
I know he's watching here somewhere.
Yeah. Look, I don't know if the two of you guys are single, but as far as like me playing matchmaker's concerned, let me tell you something. That's a hunky smart dude. You want around the house, man.
He is a hunky smart dude.
Yeah. He is. And he's an absolute dork for girls like you too. I swear to you. Yes, he's
probably Instagram messaging me right now.
But I like that guy a lot. God,
he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Do we have like a goal to have like 10 nice people before the podcast is over? I think we're on 7 right now or something like that.
We need to make a t-shirt.
Yeah, we mentioned Theo Brunner before the podcast, I think, before we went on the air. Mayor, Aurora. Oh, Jesus. I could go on and on.
The Aurora.
Rob the Aurora.
Robert.
Yeah.
McLean,
he ain't a nice guy. Rob McLean's not a nice guy. Nope. I don't know if you watched previous podcasts. We have something called Sports Debate Tuesday. That's the guy I debate with every Tuesday. We do football, basketball, and MMA. Just for volleyball people. It's a podcast for volleyball people to escape. And of course, just like this podcast, it's no longer a volleyball podcast. I got infectious disease people. I got, theater performers,
awesome.
Film actors, and episode 71. And I got Bree with me. Bree, where were you when COVID shut down?
Weird.
Florida. Did it ever shut down Florida? You guys are acting like it's fucking spring break when everybody else was shutting down.
Yeah. Well, it was March, and right. I was still working I was still PRN, which is as needed, but I was working like 40 hours a week for the hospital I work at, just all over the place. And, tournaments just kind of fell off. We started getting shut down at public beaches, and then Tampa Bay beach bums started getting creative and found some private locations to run tournaments. Guess what? You can't shut that down. So,
and they don't want to. They don't really want to because you're doing it right. Why would they want to shut down someone? God, I just interrupted you, but why would they want to shut down a bunch of people who find a way to do it social distance-ly safe, if that's a word? Yeah, why not? Do it.
But also, you're encouraging activity, being outside, vitamin D. What is the number one cause? Inactivity, vitamin D deficiency, morbid obesity.
2/3 of the population have low vitamin D. 2/3 of the American population.
Just go outside.
Yeah.
Eat well and exercise.
Yeah. And get some damn salmon in your life. You ain't got to be taking some supplements. Get some salmon in your life and work out.
You know what? Exercise you can't take a pill for.
No.
So 9 times out of 10 people don't want to do that. I see very, very, very sick people all the time. And, and it's not easy. when, I don't know if you've ever gotten out of a exercise routine or, just trying to get back into like, this is what I do every day. You know what I mean? And what do you have to do to make it a little bit easier? Sometimes you have to get a personal trainer, or sometimes like for me, Jess Wilson is my girl. I call her. She's ready to work out at midnight. She's ready to work out at 5 a.m. Like you got to find that person.
I love it. You call her on your phone and you're like, yo, you up?
I'm like, dude, I know it's late, but I get out of work at 10. You want to go run some drills?
Let's do it. You and me, girl.
It's hard to find people like that. And when you find, like, that's a unicorn. If you want to say unicorn, that's a unicorn right there. But I'm fortunate to have people like that in my life that I can just call and be like, hey, you want to work out?
Yeah. I just think if people take a more boring approach to it, they'd be more productive and physical, keeping themselves in physical shape. Like, I'm ex-military. Glad you asked. I'm ex-military.
Because I'm not boring.
No, you're not.
I don't do boring.
No, but lifestyles. The more boring it is, the more productive it is. Like if you work out 2 o'clock every day, you don't think about working out. You just get up, right? If your food
is it boring or is it regimented?
Regimented. Regiment is boring. Sorry, it just is.
Oh, my life runs on regiment. So
all right, let me tell you how I've kept myself in shape during COVID.
Okay.
First of all, I've never used a gym. I visited gyms and I've mimicked some people and I've helped people prepare. I'm ex-military. Everything that I need, my body provides. You just got to know how to use it, right? So, for example, my girlfriend, who's a gym rat, COVID, no gym, we moved the cars out of the garage and we created something called a military ring of fire. Military Ring of Fire is 13 stations where each station is a particular exercise. That station's the mountain climbers. This one's the wall sit. This one is, an advance. If you're doing jump reverse, if it's easy, you got the duffel bag on your back. And you do the jump reverse. So each station is 60 seconds, actually a 10-second transfer from one station to the other. So 13 stations, you go around the world 3 times. So it's a 39-minute workout. And you tell yourself, this only takes 40 minutes. 39 minutes. And when you tell yourself how long this is going to take, or how short should I say, you're just going to fucking do it. But if you feel like it's going to feel like a 2-hour workout, then you're probably psychologically not motivated to work out. So for me, the more boring, the better. When I got out of the military, Bree, I blew up 265 pounds. 265. Got married, got divorced, got depressed, and all of a sudden I went to a trainer who was a pharmaceutical rep for Pfizer, and she told me, what are you eating? How many times a day are you eating? She didn't want to hear about gym time. She didn't want to hear about push-ups. And she just gave me a few tips. I started eating 5 times a day, smaller portions. And I just started riding my bike to places. And then I started doing stairs, stairs is the ultimate cross trainer for every sport you will ever play in your life, including a sport that sucks like golf. So I took a year and I lost 65 pounds. And I've never looked back. 65 pounds. Right now I walk around 205, 210. In a perfect world, I'd like to be 200 even because I'm 6'1", but if you look where my shoulders are and you look where my hips are, that's me, Even in the military, I came out of boot camp 199. And they're like, you're 6'1", at your height, you're supposed to be 195. I'm like, look at me, no. So, but that's what I meant by boring. That's what I meant by boring. And I don't know, maybe our interpretation of boring, or maybe the terminology of how I used to describe it is not something you agree with, but that for me, it is what it is.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah, man. It's not like it's not working, right? It's working. I think I'm all right.
And it's good for what you're doing, right? If I don't know that I would get the same results for myself when you're trying to perform, right?
True.
And first, for me, I love throwing weights down. So it's always, a barbell is always going to be a part of my life.
There it is. Yep. So. Always. I mean, and you already it's in your profession. It's in your wheelhouse. You're not going to do it like an idiot, right? Like there's a
Oh
difference.
God, I've been training at this for, like I said, 12 years. I've been
Yeah.
Olympic weightlifting, so
No,
it's a long time.
you learned it, you master it, and you teach it. I mean,
Mm.
come on, that's coaching, right? You learn the game, you master it, you teach it. That's you. You're a life coach in that respect, especially in the physical form. So, yeah, I mean, like think about indoor volleyball and outdoor volleyball. The way you trained for indoor high level and the way you train for beach is infinitely different. We train like idiots for indoor volleyball. You
Well,
know, like the shock on your knees, your back, and this and that. Oh, my goodness.
I think that a lot of trainers got thrown into training beach volleyball players or indoor volleyball players. I think that we were trained a lot like football players to begin with, and that wasn't correct. And
Yeah.
nothing against them. I've worked with a lot of excellent strength and conditioning coaches, but it's just it's hard to train volleyball players because we jump a lot. And I think if there was more conversation between and trust between strength and conditioning, athletic training, and the coaches themselves, because I've worked with plenty of volleyball coaches, and I know of plenty of volleyball coaches from hearing different stories that there's no trust, and the head volleyball coach always wants to be in control. But you have to, like any good business, you have to delegate, right? And you have to trust that they're going to do their job and do it appropriately. But you can't go and run the stuffings out of your team and expect them to also do conditioning with your strength and conditioning coach. Like people have what they're supposed to do, and you have them for a different job for a reason. So maybe we just didn't train as a whole properly.
Right. Yeah.
There wasn't.
And volleyball was really the last to get on board with that because it's not a lot of money invested in it, right? Like, think about it. Like, I became a journalist. I didn't go to journalism school. You have to become a journalist. Volleyball players are the best improvisers in any sport that I can possibly even fathom, right? Your truck breaks down. You can't afford to go to a mechanic. Congratulations, you're a mechanic. And you got to fix your own shit, right? Like, what else? Podcasters, right? I become a podcaster. You become a physical therapist. We have to learn how to become other things because our wheelhouse is not in the big three popularity range. I could say the same thing about mixed martial arts. I mean, the UFC blew up, but before that, right? You couldn't afford a trainer. You had to you became a physical therapist. You became a dentist. No, it's kidding.
Had to get that little piece of paper that says I can.
Kidding about that. So, it's one of the most exotic places you travel to for volleyball.
Thailand was great.
Oh, Bangkok.
Yeah.
You guys won. You and Aurora won Bangkok.
Yes, we did.
That's right.
2018.
Cool, man. See, I did my homework. She's like, no, you just follow me, Jason. I have a hot button topic that we can explore. It's transgender athletes in sports. One of my favorite politicians, Tulsi Gabbard, got a lot of heat for trying to pass a bill. It's called like the Women's Protection Act, and a lot of people thought it was filled with this heightened level of transphobia. So this is, and bear with me on this one, and the floor is yours. So that's one instance where I got upset, where I don't think people are looking at it as a whole, right? And then a year before that, Joe Rogan on his podcast was saying we need to have a conversation about transgender athletes. And then the next thing you know on the news, oh, Joe Rogan hates transgenders. Oh, he's transphobic. So I'd like to say one thing first, and this is a segue for your opinion. One, transphobia in the classic sense of the word is fear and lack of understanding what you don't understand about transgenders, as well as the false embracement of unfounded hierarchy, meaning that you think one might be superior or inferior as a human being based on what they are and what they want to be. And that's the best I can do to translate that. So for me, I'm mirroring Joe Rogan's sentiment and maybe Tulsi Gabbard's when I say you can't not have a conversation. The science, as far as the science being understood and the science collected, it's still a work in progress. This whole thing is still a work in progress. Joe Rogan only brought it up, and Joe Rogan only brought it up because there was a fighter, Fallon Fox, that was a man that made the transformation into a woman. And before the allotted period, as far as the hormonal stuff and this and that, which they say should be about a year and a half, 8 months out, she's taking fights against female fighters and is just absolutely starching women. This one's got a broken face. This one's got a broken jaw. That one has a broken orbital bone and is just starching chicks. All right. And I got two things from it. One, she has a loss on her record, which made me think, shit, who was the woman that beat her? Who was the one, right? And I found out later it was Leslie Smith, who fought in the UFC for a while. And the second thing was, why is it not okay to have a conversation about this? Your thoughts?
It's because of closed-mindedness and just people want to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, if you're whoever you want to be, right? Whatever it is. If you're a man, like a fighter, right? You can die. Like at a biological level, regardless of what hormones say, you're a man fighting a woman, and that it's not fair. Regardless of if we have the same test levels, whatever, it's still a man fighting a woman at the end of the day. Maybe we should have our own transgender section. I don't know. But if you were born a man, you should have to play male athletics. If you were born a woman, you should have to play female athletics. That's where I'm at. And it just, that's where I lie. It's like, I think, Brazil has the first female transgender indoor volleyball player, if I'm correct.
Yep.
And she's killing people, but she touches like almost 12 foot, something like that. Like, come on, like you should be playing a men's sport. I think it's great that they're embracing it, but it's like, it's not like even coming down to fairness level or whatever, but you should have to play that sport in the gender you were born in. I don't know. And every person, I probably have a lot more testosterone than a lot of females. It's just, you were naturally born that way, and you were either born with, a little bit of an extra edge or you weren't. And it's called genetics, and it's called epidemiology and all of these things, and why they're talking about having like grading athletes. So you have to play against your grade of athlete. But then you're whatever, they compare runners all the time, so-and-so performed well at these tests and so they would technically, race at the same, but it's not the case. Technique plays a lot into it too, but genetics aren't going to lie at the end.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the two sports that stuck out the most is one, the Brazilian player you were talking about, because anyone who knows that's on the indoor volleyball scene, or at least lingers around to still watch it. And I do. I'm a big indoor guy. They knew about this female player. I don't know her name. I'm a big MMA person. That's I would say that's almost as much as my wheelhouse is volleyball these days, but not quite. I mean, come on, there's that first love, right?
Always.
Where I was scared for women when I watched, when I watched Fallon Fox fight. I was scared for female fighters.
How could you not be though? It's a man fighting a woman, and going into it that you could die either way, whether you fight another woman or not. But your chances severely increase when it was a man.
Yeah, and I mean the the one thing I got out of it, maybe not the most, but like the humorous thing I got out of it was, wow, good for you, Leslie Smith. You know, you put that one loss on Fallon Fox's record. You know, Jesus Christ.
Well, if you take like you have your best male fighter and your worst male fighter, your female is going to sometimes, you know, your best female might beat your worst male.
Yeah.
We've seen it in tennis. We've seen it, you know, in other things, but mainly, you know.
Look, I don't doubt that you could whoop my ass 2 out of 10 times. We're about the same height. I do have the reach on you, and girl,
6'3", I'm not 6'8", though.
That's right, and girl, I will start you from afar. Okay, don't. You know, not Ike Turner, not this way. Bobby Brown, just that way. Just 3 fingers. Stay back, stay back. But no, I'm glad you said that, because I think as far as the science is concerned, a lot of the people who think it's okay, and the people that I've talked to are usually the same people that always refer to the science when it comes to every other single debate. That I have with them. They're always like, oh, I rely on the data, or I rely on the science collected. And I say science collected, not the science period.
And they probably haven't played or done that sport.
Right.
Like,
yeah. So
come on.
I just wanted to get around to actually asking women, because the issue rarely comes up when a woman wants to play in a man's sport. A transgender woman wants to play in a man's sport.
Yeah. And I don't think that's okay either. You know, and that the soccer player who just kicked for, where was it?
Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Vanderbilt. I didn't want to be wrong, but
that wasn't a trans. That was a straight up woman.
No, but it's a female playing a man's sport.
Right.
I don't think that should be allowed either.
Right.
They're not allowed to play our sport because of whatever. A woman should not be able to play a man's sport. That's just how it should be. You know, an excellent soccer player from what I understand, and you know, good for her for earning the position, but you know, Vanderbilt was kind of in a bind there. So I don't know. I think it should just be a hard and fast rule. We don't have to get, you know, phobic about it, but
no, we're not even talking about.
But we're
not even talking about phobia. We're talking about the general science.
Yeah.
We're talking about bone density. We're talking about hormonal. Yeah. We're talking about testosterone versus testosterone replacement therapy. So yeah, dude, you're the first woman I asked about that. And honestly, and for me, I didn't want to talk about it anymore until I got around to actually talking to women. And I've talked to a transgender athlete who's like, she's basically 5'6". Or you know, he turned into she's 5'6", and she's like, look, I'm not gaining any advantage playing on an 8-foot net, you know, playing co-ed or whatever and this and that. So I just think it's interesting. I think it's interesting, and I don't put it in the same category of a woman wanting to be a transgender athlete, or a woman wanting to be a firefighter or something like that. Women in combat, I don't classify that, because if you look at the Israeli army, the women are allowed to serve in the infantry, and they work out. Bree, they work out just fine, you know. So I think it's just more about not going so soft on someone versus what the science is actually telling us, right? Like, if we're in the military, right, and you get hurt, and if I rescue you, I feel like I've gone soft. But if I rescue another man, I'm a hero. So there has to be this level of thinking that started with men that has to change for us to have a more honest conversation. But the point I was trying to make, we have to have the conversation.
Well, and it goes down to a cultural level too. You know, I have a lot of friends who are military and ex-military, and women haven't been allowed to, you know, be combative on front lines because the need to protect, and that's a distraction. Right. Which is a distraction is unsafe. Which I completely understand. And that goes, you know, it's just, you know, an inherent thing as you're, you know, the man of the household or whatever, even if you're not even in relation with this person, it's that distraction, the need to save. Definitely. You got to save yourself. Yeah. So, that's how it's been explained to me from a male perspective in military, in U.S. culture. Now, what it is in Israeli, I have no idea. But,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm ex-military. Every male member of my family served. Big up to my sister, Mary Beth Rose Gingrich. She's first female that served in our family. 2 tours in Afghanistan. So she loves it. She's like, she had ODD. She had oppositional defiance disorder. And I told my mom, I'm like, don't send it to the doctor. Send it to the Army. You want to don't give her pills. Don't give her medication. Send her to the Army. You want to know the best way to knock out oppositional defiance disorder? For those of you that are listening, it basically, in layman's terms, it means I'll clean my room unless you tell me to. Then I'm not going to do it. That's ODD. Knocked it right out of her. She comes back. She's like, oh man, this Army shit is a trip. That's what she said. So yeah, but that's me, my ex-military. In fact, I think I'm going to show you in a minute. Actually, let's just zoom in on that. Those are my medals right there. It's my honorable discharge next to whatever. But that's all me. Gulf War vet. My father, Vietnam vet. Father before that, Korean War. My father's side, World War II, all the way to World War I. So, but oh my God! So man, that's it. I can't believe an hour and a half just flew by like that, dude.
Yeah, right.
So, is there anything you want to ask me? No, actually, is there anything you any particular site or whatever you want people to plug? Anything? Maybe what you're working or what you're doing with yourself that could be helpful to us as human beings, for mankind. Sorry, people kind. Sexist. Canceled.
Oh, shut up! I'm not even thinking about that. And whoever is, you need to calm down.
Right?
First of all, just calm down.
Shit.
No, I started my own LLC, Empire Health and Performance. We're hoping to launch in 2021. Super excited. UMR Sports Complex, we should hopefully have off the ground in early February, January. And have do some training and some tournaments there, so I'm super excited. But got a lot of stuff cooking. 2021 is going to be fun.
Nice, cool. For volleyball players, and any place to follow you?
Oh yeah,
just on your Instagram handle, which I'll have up on the podcast on the how should I say the real version, because we actually got knocked out of every version. We got knocked off of Facebook Live, so I'm just doing this just off the recording device because I know we're not gonna get shut down again. But That's cool. So. For everybody else, Bree Scarbrough might love you, but I can't stand you, all right? So we're out of here. So for all of you at home, for all of you on your iPad at Starbucks, for all of you on your iPhone, for all of you on your Droid, for all of you on your desktop, who runs the world? Old school. For this young lady, this alpha female, Bree Scarbrough, this is episode 71 of the Option Podcast. I am Jason DeBillius, and we're out of here. We say... so long. Come check out the Option Podcast on optionvb.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.